Live, move, and have your being with Baaba Cofie.
Hello there, and welcome to this special edition of Live, Move, Have Your Being podcast with me, Baaba Cofie. I am particularly excited about this episode because today is World IVF Day, and today we are running with the theme No Stigma, No Silence, but honest, raw conversations about fertility. And LMB is a not for profit organization that seeks to support families that are going through fertility and pregnancy related challenges. And we are excited that today we can collaborate and partner with the Accra Fertility Center, one of the bodies under the Medifem group of hospitals. And then we are also powered by Mahogany Consult, who are organizing this podcast. And we have been sponsored by Nonoa Skincare. Today, let's get into the conversation, and I know you would enjoy it the way I would as well. So, as I promised you, I have three amazing people that we are going to be speaking to who are on our panel today as we discuss IVF. And I'm going to introduce them in a bit. First, we have Mr. Samuel Riafe. He is a senior clinical psychologist at Ga East Municipal Hospital. He's also an advocate and the founder and executive director of Rare Disease Ghana Initiative. Mr. Rafi, you are welcome.
Thank you for having
Very
me.
nice
Baba.
to meet you,
It's
and
a
very
pleasure.
nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Then I have right beside me my favorite person right now in the world. I am admiring her every second. So we have Madame Ruth Oklu, who is an accountant at the Controller and Accountants General Department. And she is the one going to be sharing that amazing story of hers going through IVF. Ruth, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to share your story.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then finally, one of my favorite human beings in the world, Dr. Kwesi Homia. I'll tell you our history in the next episode, so do stay tuned. So Dr. Kwesi Homia is a consultant obstetrician gynecologist at Accra Fertility Center, Medifem Hospital. He is known for his expertise in IVF and has addressed several myths and misconceptions about the procedure. He's also a member of the World Association of Laparoscopic Surgeons. Doc, you are welcome.
Nice to be here.
Nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. And thank you all for making it today. So we are excited because today is World IVF Day, and we need to talk about IVF a lot more. And so I'm going to start with this amazing story from Ruth. So Ruth, IVF, wow. Was it a deliberate decision? Did the doctor ask you to do it? Did you know what you were getting yourself into? Why IVF? What inspired it? Can you tell us a bit more?
Yes, thank you. What inspired IVF for me was the fact that I wanted to have children because I was getting older. And my mom was also on my neck to have kids. And I started, I think, 10 years ago. That was when I was 28. So I tried and I got pregnant once. I lost it after 2 months. And after that, no pregnancy for 10 years after I was 28. So I tried prayers, hair back concussions, going for fertility, that thing, sonography, is it ultrasound?
Ultrasound.
Yes. You drink a lot of water and then your bladder would have to shoot up. Severally, they will say there's nothing wrong with you. And after a point, I relaxed because I was tired of trying. And then my friend had twins. And then we went for the
Outdooring.
outdooring, and I told her that she had done something because she also had that gap, 10 years gap. She had a child first, and she was trying, and then twins. I said, no, there's something you did, tell me. So she referred me to where she went, which is Medifem, and I went there and I met Dr. Homia, and I explained my situation to him, and I wanted to find out why I wasn't getting pregnant. So we started with laparoscopy surgery to find out what was wrong with my reproductive system. So I think after 2 weeks, when I went through the surgery, he diagnosed what the problem was and told me the only option was IVF if I wanted to have kids. So I went back, regrouped my thoughts, my processes, my options, because I was single. I had married and then divorced, and now I was single. And I still wanted to have kids. I don't know when the next marriage will come. So I went through a lot. Who was going to father my children? How I'm going to get money for the procedure, because it was expensive. And the process, because when I realized that was what I was going to go through, I went to the net to search what it entailed and the success rates for some people, a whole lot. But then I told myself I was going to go through it no matter what. And each time we progressed, there was a new issue that we had to, the options were not too favorable for me. But then because the end goal was to have children, I braced them and then went through, and now I have my children. They are 2-year-old and I'm happy with them.
Wow. 2-year-old triplets.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I will come back to you to share a bit more on that. But Dr. Homias, Ruth's story is an example of a woman who has been able to go through that process and been successful at it. And even getting or arriving at the decision that I want to do it in itself is not easy. And that's also because we don't understand what IVF is all about. Why should I have an IVF? When should I have an IVF? What is it? How scary is it? All those things. Can you share a bit more?
And, IVF is basically in vitro fertilization, and it's an advanced medical procedure to try and help couples who are unable to conceive the natural way. We all know the natural way of having a baby. But for some reasons, some couples are unable to. If you take the general population, about 10 to 15% would require a bit of assisted conception to achieve.
Wow.
And previously, we used to always blame the woman when there's no conception. So IVF was like kind of a woman's thing. So the first IVF procedure was done in 1978. And basically what it means is taking the sperm from the man and taking the egg from the woman and fertilizing it in the lab and putting the baby back into the woman. So in vitro basically means outside the body. So you fertilize the eggs outside in the lab and put it back. That is why initially it used to be called test tube babies and all that. Yes. And one would want to know who needs IVF.
Yeah.
Previously, we always blamed the women. But if you look at the statistics now, in fact, a lot more men need the IVF than women. Because a lot more men are coming with very low sperm counts.
Please, could you say that again, just for emphasis?
What I was trying to say is that previously, when a couple is not able to achieve conception, the blame was always on the woman. So the men were not even tested at all. But looking at the statistics of what we're seeing now, the fertility problem is almost, we used to say 30, 30, 30, 30% men, 30% women, then 30 combination. Now it's looking like almost 40, 50% men.
Wow.
And the reasons why certain men might not be able to impregnate the partner might be either the sperm count is too low, some have no sperm at all, some have ejaculatory problems. He could have sex for hours and hours without any sperm coming out. Or where the sperm is supposed to come out might not be the appropriate place. So the sperm is actually not going to where it's supposed to go. Then when you come to the female factors, sometimes there are challenges with the fallopian tube because that's where the sperm and the egg are supposed to meet. But sometimes there are blockages along the line, so the sperm and the egg are not able to meet. Certain women also have hormonal problems, so they are not ovulating, and if the egg is not released, the sperm cannot fertilize it. Then there are other issues, fibroids, few congenital problems where maybe the woman might not even have a tube at all or a womb at all. Then there's another part, about 15% of couples, where you do all the testing, everything is fine, they've stayed together, there's no problem, but still there's no conception. So that's what we call unexplained infertility, and IVF is one of the solutions for it. Lately, IVF is a solution for people with genetic problems, like sickle cell.
Okay.
If I'm sickle cell, I am married to somebody who's AS2. There's a procedure where we can select babies that are not or do not have the sickle cell gene
Wow.
for the couple to have a kid who hasn't got that gene.
Let's hold on there. I know this will be of interest to a lot of couples out there, especially those who are contemplating marriage, but wondering because of their sickling status whether to go ahead or not. This is good news, and I would want you to just explain it a little bit more.
Yes. After the process of fertilization of the eggs, there's something we call pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, where the embryos or the babies that have been formed can be tested genetically for not only sickle cell, but for other genetic problems. In fact, you can actually even test for sex, but that is banned in a lot of countries.
Understandable.
If you even want to go higher, you could select the color of the eye, whether the baby is going to be short, blue eyes. But those are the very complex ones, and even some countries, these things are banned. Doctors are not allowed to, because it's like you are re-engineering human beings. But there are some common genetic diseases that comes with a lot of problems. Yes, and you can select those embryos that don't have that gene, so that a couple can have a kid who is healthy.
Wow, you are helping God. So we also know that IVF comes with a lot of misconceptions. I guess because we don't understand, and in our part of the world, even the way you conceive and the way you have or the way you give birth is perceived as, you know, you have to do it as a traditional way, or sometimes you're even called, or you are thought not to be a woman, you know, if you don't go through pregnancy a certain way and you don't give birth naturally. So what are some of these misconceptions, and how do we go around educating people, you know, about it? If you could share a bit more.
Yeah, as we all know, babies are supposed to be in the bedroom. So just the fact that you have to go through a hospital or a lab to have a baby makes it seem unnatural. And anything that seems unnatural, people tend to frown, you know, and think that it's not a normal thing to do. The biggest misconception when IVF started, and a lot of people were agitating against it, was that the babies were going to be abnormal. That they were not going to be like, you're trying to create superhuman beings, and they were not going to be like the normal kits that are made in the bedroom. But since 78, a lot of babies, in fact, as of today, about 10 million babies have been born through IVF worldwide.
Oh, wow.
And the studies that have done has not shown any difference between babies born from IVF and babies born in the supposedly natural way. In fact, some of the babies born from IVF are even superior to. So there's no difference. There's no way you can tell. Once the baby is born, there's nobody who can tell this is an IVF baby, this is not, and all that. Then the other misconception is once you do IVF, you have to be in hospital from day one till delivery. That was initially the early times of IVF when we didn't understand it too much. But current practice, after IVF, you can sit in your car, park your car and go home.
Please, was that the case for you?
Yeah.
Yes. You can sit here and go home. The only challenge that might keep you in hospital is multiple gestations. When you have 2 or 3 or 4 quadruplets, the challenges with the pregnancy is a bit more. So sometimes you might have to be in hospital, even that are not from day one till delivery. Maybe when you are getting close to term and some of the complications are coming up and all that. Then the other misconception is that every IVF baby has to be born by cesarean section. That is not true.
Oh, I see.
The only issue is that because of the what women go through to achieve a baby through IVF, people tend to label it a precious baby. And you know, babies can come at any time. At dawn, you're home alone, maybe you're living in, let's say, Dodoa, and you go into labor at dawn. There's nobody to bring you to the hospital, and anything can happen. And these are women who have been through a lot to achieve that. So for most physicians, just to cut everything short, elective cesarean section at 38, 39 weeks, you know, but you can have a normal delivery without any issues. So these are the most common misconceptions about IVF. There are a few other ones that you could, another big one is that when you go to IVF, you're at risk of getting cancers, ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer, breast cancer. But since 78, a lot of studies have been done, and it's not been shown that you're at any higher risk of getting any of these cancers.
That's great, and that's very good to know. Again, we'll come back to you. We need a bit more information, but I want to speak with Mr. Riafe on the psyche, you know, of women and families. I mean, it could be men as well. You know, when they are going through, or if they need to go through this procedure. I mean, you heard what Ruth said. It wasn't easy. She had to go back and think through, blah, blah, blah. So what happens? You know, what are they thinking? How is the emotional response? What should they be feeling? What kind of support do they need? Can you also expand a bit on that?
Yeah, thank you, Baaba. It's the decision to go for IVF is a major one. It has a lot of implications. For many people who go that journey, it means that they've already seeking to have children, and they might have tried other means. Sometimes because of childbirth, there are already existing family issues that are there. There are other conflicts that are already there. They are already dealing with stigma within the society for not having children, and earlier on that may not be their initial decision. They might just come in for exploratory, trying to find why, and trying to find what the options may be for them. And so for many couples, when they are told that this is the only option available, it brings in the reality of the fact that they are not going to have children in the natural way. That reality hits a lot of people, because sometimes because of the conflict, it's your fault, it's not my fault, and all of those. That reality now hits. It comes to bear that, okay, this is the next step, and one may have to come to terms with that reality alone before they even make the next decision of going on with the IVF. And so there's some bit of grief that is activated. Just when the doctor is announcing to them that your option is IVF, grief is activated. They are now coming to terms that, oh, so it's true that I wouldn't go this way and have to go the other way. And that grief is activated, and the grief will come with anger, guilt, depression, anxieties, all kinds of feelings around even coming to that reality, that initial reality. Then the other reality of what the IVF actually entails, and the cost implication, plus the other societal issues around it. Going through, society has a perception of how childbirth should be within our culture, within our society. And so when you are now going through IVF, now you are going to the hospital, they are going to basically incubate the embryo, and then and so how will your even your immediate family, your mother and father, even understand that communication? Your let alone the bigger family and the entire community,
The church
even,
people.
church people, so many people, how they will even understand that whole process. Sometimes there's family conflicts that begin to start from that decision. There's a conflict that can emerge because one may not be ready to spend that much money, or the cost. Where do we find the money? And now, if the previous issues have been one blaming the other, and now we now discover that we are not actually having children because it's this way. Now, how to deal with that other reality between the two couples also begins another part of conflict that they may have to deal with in there.
Interesting.
So yeah, and the whole
Wow.
procedure alone also may come with its own trauma and stress and frustration, and the families, the couples also have to navigate through that stages one after the other. And there are things you may not expect but may happen along the way. And I always think this is like a big investment, and so you don't also want to fail. And like any medical procedure, it has its success, and there's
Yeah.
also failures in there. And so sometimes when it happens that it's not successful, there's a lot of grief that happens, and it usually doesn't go well for many couples, especially those who have spent all their last savings
On
on
it.
the procedure.
You know, as Mr. Rafi is speaking, I'm just wondering how it was for you. You know, when Dr. Homia told you that this is the best way to go, how did it make you feel? From the hospital, the consulting room, to your house, did you have to speak to anybody? That night, were you able to sleep? What happened to you? What did you go through?
Well, I said earlier on that my friend had gone through one. So I also knew that was what I wanted. But I wanted to show why I wasn't getting pregnant before. So I already had that at the back of my mind that I wanted to do that, because for waiting for 10 years, I didn't want one child. And I know IVF was the surest way of getting multiple. So I'd already dealt with that news, because I already knew that. In fact, he told me that if I had told him earlier, he wouldn't have gone ahead with the laparoscopy. He would have started with the IVF straight. So I didn't have the problem of now, like, it wasn't new to me. It was something I knew that I wanted to do.
So your eyes were on the price, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got the prize.
Yes.
3 of them.
Yeah, my God space.
So, Doc, can you take us through the IVF process? What happens? So she came to you. You said, "Let's do IVF." I'm sure you said, "Okay, so come, let's start on this day." So
Yeah.
tell us what happens.
Yeah, I think she took it very well. I mean, even for us as doctors to break the news that this is what you require to get pregnant is difficult, because for some it seems like this is the end of the world for me, because maybe I might not be able to finance it. But I think she took it very well, and I was a bit surprised that, so now she's telling me she had thought about it. So once you make the decision to go through the procedure, then we have to do some testing to be sure that you are healthy, because it's a pregnancy you're going to carry. So we have to be sure that you are healthy, your eggs are of good quality, and all those. You go through those testing. Then once the results are available and everything is normal, then you have to go through what we call the stimulation cycle, because we need to get the eggs out, and we need to get a sperm. So the stimulation cycle is for you to produce the eggs. A woman would normally produce only 1 egg a month, but in IVF we're looking at about 6 to 10 eggs, because once you take them out of their natural environment, some would die. If you add a sperm, some might not fertilize, some will fertilize but might not grow to the stage where you can transfer them. So you need a bit more, at least 6 to 10. So you go through these injections every day, 1 injection every day, and that can be done in the hospital, or some people can inject themselves, or if you have a nurse nearby. And of course, that alone comes with its challenges, the pain of the injections, asking permission from work every time that I'm going to the hospital every day, and people asking what's happening. So you go through the injections, then we monitor you with a scan. That is painless. We'll see the eggs coming up on the scan. When the eggs reach maturity, then we take you to theater to go and pick up the eggs. It's a minor procedure, a minor surgical procedure. We don't cut you or anything. We just sedate you. It takes about 10-15 minutes. And with the aid of a needle, we pick up the eggs. After 2 hours, you can get up and go back home. So then we add the sperm to the eggs that we've picked up. For some, when the sperm count is very poor, we have to do something we call ICSI, where we have to take 1 egg, take 1 sperm, and inject it into the. So it's kind of, maybe the sperm is a bit lazy, so you force it in there. So that is for very poor sperm counts. Then you put them in the incubator overnight. The next morning, after 24 hours, you come and check. Then you see how many have fertilized. There are features that will show you that these ones are fertilized and all that. So you monitor the growth normally over 5 days. You see them growing in the test tube or dish, petri dish, as we call it. So like cells dividing. So it's like a tomato. The next time you come is cut into 2, divided into 2. The next few hours you come is 4, 8, 16, 32. But the technology hasn't gone beyond keeping them for more than 6 days. After 6 days, if you don't put them back in a woman, they will die off. So on the 6th day, you take the woman back to the theater. That's a pretty simple procedure we load the babies. The babies are microscopic. So we load them into a small tube, like smaller than a pen.
I see.
Then we put a tube through the cervix into the womb. Then a deposit to the babies there. Then you go through another period of injections for another 14 days. And that's the almighty waiting period.
Yes.
All sorts of ideas go through your head. Some people want to start vomiting the next day, just to be sure. So they'll call you, I haven't vomited, I'm not feeling anything. Just take it easy for a while, because The baby is not even 1 week old. Then after 14 days, they would have to come in for the test to be sure whether the babies have been planted or not.
Wow, that is one of the most difficult steps to take to do that test, because that would determine whether you are going to pass out or you are going to jubilate. And I can imagine how women feel, especially women feel, and of course men as well. Ruth, how did you feel when you're going in for that test?
I think after I already had a pregnancy test and kids at home. I bought.
So she was cheating.
You were ready.
I was, in fact, I was told that one of the nurses told me it was 50-50. I said, what do you mean by 50-50? After spending all these money, you're telling me it's 50, but I think they just tell you just so that in case you don't come and beat them or something. But after 14 days when I tested, I had a 2 marks and I snapped it. I sent it to him. He said, oh, I should come to the hospital for the test. So I came. I think they have a test called HDG or something.
HCG. Serum HCG.
So, and there's a percentage they mentioned me. I don't know. All I know is that my baby has implanted. And we took it one day after time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was taking my medicines. They gave me some medicines to take, what I shouldn't do. And
Wow. I can understand a little bit. So, Doc, after that, they come, they get tested. Some are positive, some are not, but hopefully more are positive. So, what are the success rates now?
When the IVF started, success rates were like 10%.
Yeah.
You know, and but with advancements in technology and all that, some are going as high as 80%.
Oh wow!
You know, but there are certain factors that improves the success. The age of the woman. In fact, that's the most important factor in IVF.
Okay.
The younger you are, the higher the if you do IVF for 20-year-olds, about 90% will get pregnant.
I see.
You know, but with age, then the success goes down, especially after 35. Then the success rates goes down. Then a few other things, if the sperm is of very poor quality, you can force a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink. You force the sperm into the egg to fertilize it, but it hasn't got the capacity to grow. Then maybe there are other things like fibroids or scars in the womb and all that. But I can say that your chances of getting pregnant are more than your chances of not getting pregnant.
So you speak a lot about the sperms. So when the sperm is not of good quality or not very strong, what is the advice you give to the couple? And then again, why would you then, attempt to use a sperm that is not so strong?
What else would you use? I mean, can you imagine going with your husband and they say, oh, your sperm is not strong, so can you get me another person's sperm which is strong?
Which would be a problem.
Yes,
definitely.
Obviously. So you'd have to. I mean, the fact that it's not strong, in a normal ejaculate of a man, it's like 1 million sperm. 5 million, 5 million, 10 million, not even 20 million. So if you look through, you might get one that is strong enough.
Okay.
So that's where the ICSI comes in. So even though when you look at all the parameters, the person doesn't pass the criteria, but with a microscope, you can see some good one moving, then you grab the other one. So yes.
But when does the use of like donor sperm, for instance, come in? And sometimes, of course, donor eggs as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Donor eggs mainly it's because of age.
Mm.
Because a woman is born with all her eggs. Women don't develop eggs. The day you are born, God has given you all the eggs you will ever have. Unlike men that every 90 days we get new sperm.
How unfair.
Because God is a man. So the woman at birth has all the eggs she will ever have. She doesn't develop any new eggs again.
Mm.
That is why when people are going around, I'm going to give you medication for you to get new eggs and all that. A lot of it is not. And the egg levels keep going down with every menstruation. You lose a lot of eggs. And by 35, it goes down drastically. Beyond 40, it's virtually getting finished. So about 45, 46, then we say, yeah, menopausal.
Mm.
But now, a lot of women are going to school for so long, doing PhDs and all that. By the time they finish and they get married, they are
Oh,
38,
Dr. Homia.
39, 40.
Personal attack.
It's not a personal- So by that time, the egg levels are so low, and we have a test to check for the egg levels. We call it AMH,
Okay.
which is just a blood test.
Okay.
So that can tell you that either there are no eggs at all, or what we have is not enough for you to get conception. When it comes to the men, some men don't have sperm at all. There are some men who are born without any sperm at all. And typically in medical school, they used to tell us that when a man looks too handsome, be suspicious that he might not have any sperm. If you have a beard and all that, and
Oh my
so
goodness.
that's a congenital anomaly people are born with.
Yeah.
So they don't have any sperm at all. So they obviously, if they want to achieve conception, they would have to use a donor sperm. Some, the sperm is there, is in the testes all right, but there's an obstruction along the line, so it's not able to come out. For those ones, sometimes we can take the sperm from the testes with some special techniques, a needle and all that. And for some, they've tried the IVF several times. It's not working, it's failing. And obviously the sperm quality is poor. Then they could consider sperm donation or egg donation. So these are the major reasons.
Interesting. And that means that it is obviously not an easy decision to come to. It's not that simple. If the doctor says that, well, the eggs are poor, but then you want to try with your own eggs before. That makes the IVF process even more complicated, Mr. Riafe.
Yes.
So how do you think that you can prepare, like either a couple or a single mother like Ruth? How do you prepare? How do you manage your emotions and everything going through your mind and your body, even as you go through this process? There's a young lady currently who is going through an IVF process, and every time after an injection, she would weep her eyes out as she's driving. She just can't seem to manage it. And she thinks that it is the injections that are making her emotional. I don't know if that is it, but is that, what do you think?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, it's not an easy decision, and decisions of this nature require a lot of support. And so the best coping is if someone is entering that space with very well informed about the decision as well as the implications. In the case of Ruth, she had made a decision about what she wanted. So it made it, even though the journey is not smooth, it was easier compared to someone who was just met with that decision that, okay, this is what you have to do, and say the husband is giving pressure that I want a child, and the woman has not made a decision regarding some of this, or there's pressure, societal pressure on that person The person is being forced in some way to have to go that route. It is not easy. Sometimes they don't even know what the procedure is about. They've just been told, and they've been told the cost, and they can afford. And the next moment they are there to go through the procedure, and they are not aware of all the adjustments that are required, because it will require a lot of adjustment. There's a 14 days wait. There's an isolation in there, even between you and your partner, and you have to understand what that means for you as a couple. There are injections to take. You may not be used to taking injections every time, but now you have to take injections. There is an outcome that you have to come to terms with, whether it's going to be positive or negative. There's a lot that goes through the whole cycle, and so there's a need for a lot of support. Initially, with a lot of information to the couple to help them make the decision right. And if they decide that that's the route they want to go, there's also a need for ongoing support, either provided professionally within the clinical system, or they can also have some social support that they can also rely on that can be very, very helpful to help them through the journey. Sometimes for Ruth, in the case of Ruth, she is a single mom, and so how she navigating the pregnancy journey, she had triplets, and it's not the same as carrying one child.
And
so
that's actually my next question
Yes.
to her. That for you, you were a single, or you are a single mother. You were single at the time. And so there wasn't, and I remember when we spoke earlier, we were like, I was driving myself to the hospital, and I drive myself back, you know. But how was it like for you? Did you feel that you needed more support, or who was supporting you? You know, yes. How was it like for you?
Well, I kept telling myself that these fingers are not the same. I wish I had a man who would hold me, pamper me through that journey. You know, I'm a woman. I want to have that princess treatment. I don't want to be the one paying my bills.
Yeah.
But I was looking at my age. I mean, I'm going to 40. Dr. Omia said the success rate goes down drastically after that. And I'm almost always on the internet, listening to people's testimonies. And earlier when I started, one of the doctors told me that 35, if you're not careful, you might not have kids. So it's been at the back of my mind. So I treated the whole thing like a project. That's how I treated it. Seriously. I like that. I want, by 40, I want to have my kids. At least it should be a year or two. So it was an aim I'd put in front of me, and I didn't have any support. Hopefully, after my kids are grown, maybe the man will come and then maybe pay all the bills I had paid. But we can't all be treated the same in this world. You can't look at someone's life and, well, I wish I had that traditional way, but if I'm wishing that I might not have kids at all. And I've seen women who have not had kids at all, and how society treats them, and you might have all the money in the world, but then there's this void, and I didn't want to see myself in that situation. So I braced all whatever, and then I said, no, I'll do this. So I didn't have any man around. When the embryos were put in me, I rested for some few hours, and I think around 5, I was driving like a tortoise from Medifem to Buche. I was when I see a pothole, I'll just fall in. And then I'll hold my butt up a bit till I got home, closed all my doors, and told that no one should come and disturb me. Fortunately, I live in a family house. I have my own apartment there. They'll come and check on me. Are you okay? I say, yeah. They say I shouldn't go out. I shouldn't cook. Bring me food. I'll just walk to the window, see what's going on. I'll be sleeping. Till after 14 days, I had no one smooching me. I think that one even helped me. Yeah, because, and you know, when the embryos are in there, no sex for you. So
Yeah.
you've given birth. So, you know, I'm a young girl, the feelings are there. You have to suppress them. And I keep telling myself, I've put the cost of a building in my womb. Because when I compare it to the building I put up, the money is virtually close to the same. I thought, okay, as I made my see if you're me, so I'm not going to allow anything to come and destroy that investment. That's how I saw it. Maybe that's what helped me to
It does.
put any negativity aside, and then I followed the rules religiously, took my hormones, injections religiously, and then by God's grace, the babies came out healthy.
In fact, you are such an inspiration because there are so many young women, young families who are desiring to go through a process like this, but are not sure, especially because of what society would say. And I would want you to share in a minute or two, have you had did you get any backlash from family, from society, your community, friends, anything like that?
Well, in our society, when you're pregnant, you don't go around telling people I'm pregnant. And in my case, because of my size, I think I'm about 90 kg to 100. So you wouldn't even know that I'm pregnant. And I'm either in my car to the hospital. I come and the gates are closed. The only people who knew I was pregnant was my madam at the office. And then, even after I had given birth, I told people I had given birth. I went to my junction to get something. They said I was lying. And because the pregnancy took about 7 months. Yeah, so, and you know, you don't go around telling people that I'm pregnant, even if it's a natural way. We don't do that in our societies. So my mom encouraged me to have the kid. So I had more encouragement than the negativity. The only time I had a negative comment was from someone I had a beef with. I think afterwards she realized the kids were through IVF and she was calling me names. She said I wasn't a woman and that I had given birth to robots. And I wasn't angry at her because I'm sorry to say her educational level is not a GSS leaver, so I wasn't surprised about how her perspective of life is. So I actually don't care about the insults. What I care about is the results. So, and I'm a tough person. I don't get
You can't touch me.
things don't get to
Like
me
that.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and through the process, I don't remember crying. I keep asking questions like, oh, why didn't I start early? That was the only regret. If I had known about this age thing, I would have maybe started early. But that was the only thing. I don't really care what people talk about. The only person that I care about is God and my parents. If you don't feed me, I don't care what you say about me.
I'm going to come back to you so that you give a message to young families, young women out there who want to take the step, but are not as tough as you are. So, Doc, the embryos are transferred. The woman comes for the test and it's positive. After that, is there anything special beyond, or it becomes a normal pregnancy?
It becomes a normal pregnancy, frankly. The only time is not a normal pregnancy, well, not that it's not a normal pregnancy, but even natural conception, if you have twins or triplets or quadruplets, it's a complicated pregnancy. So you need extra. So it's like any twin gestation from a normal coital outcome. But if it's a single thing, it's just a no. The only other issue is that because most people come a bit late and pregnancy complications are higher the older you are, hypertension, diabetes and all that, especially when you're in your 40s going, that kind of pregnancy needs a bit more monitoring because it's more prone to complications. But as to if, let's say, a 25-year-old does IVF and gets pregnant, there's no increased complication rate compared to her colleague 25 who had natural. But most of our people come late. You know, I mean, it's surprising, but I think this is where we need to do a lot of education because you realize that most women don't know the limits of their reproductive life. But looking back, even when we were young, our grandparents knew the limits of your reproductive life. The moment you finish our time, Form 5, they'll start putting you under pressure. A female, school, what are you going to do in university and all that? But for some reason, after that generation, women, so it tells you that they knew that a woman cannot have babies forever. There's a point at which you might not be able to. But after that generation, we seem to have gone to the stage that women can have babies at any time. They can do whatever that has to be done, and when they are ready, because sometimes you get couples, they just gotten married, they say, oh, we want to have fun for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're 35.
Why not?
You're 35 years and you want to have fun for 2 years before. And, you know, and even it's surprising that sometimes you get patients about 48 years old and you come, Dr. Homia, I want to freeze my eggs. And I ask myself, you want to freeze eggs at 48? Which ones are you going to freeze?
Oh,
You know?
my.
So I think there should be a lot more education, you know, about these issues, and people should, you know, think about these things and read more about it. Get to know the reproductive cycle of a woman and all that, because a lot of people are surprised when you tell them that at 48, 47, you can't have a baby with your own egg. They seem shocked. They said, no, it's not possible. I'm still having my menses. I still look young and all that. But you could still have a baby at 48 with your own egg. But that is where other issues, genetic problems like Down syndrome and all those things, these special babies, that's where they come in. And even to the risk to your own health during a pregnancy. So I think programs like this get to let people know the realities of the situation. Fine, education is good, career is good and all that, but you need to combine these things.
It is not a simple process for women currently because society also has expectations of women to grow their careers, right? And then also to go to school. It is women are now being told that you cannot go get married and depend on a man, you know, and so you need to have your own money, you know, and that is where the diciness is. Even going through pregnancy, I mean, we know women who have been employed, and as a result of getting pregnant, they lose their jobs, you know, and all of that. So I think it's a different conversation that we need to have, because yes, we do need to appreciate our reproductive cycle, all right, but then how do you then juggle that with the biological, you know, process, and then your career and, you know, family and all of that? Women, we are doing well. we are doing well.
Extremely well. I think that God created us specially for that.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yes. You know, we understand. So I want us to just look at the societal pressures. Ruth, because of how resilient she is herself, has been able to go through this. But truth is, a lot of women out there are not. And we know that, as Dr. Homia said earlier, even currently, women still get blamed for infertility. And so the whole IVF process is still on her. It's like she is more interested. In any case, she's the one going to get the injections, not him. All right, so she's the one going to do the 2 weeks wait, not him. And so that challenge is still there. Mr. Riafe, what should we do? I am in this dilemma. I am going through the IVF process. Perhaps I'm not getting that kind of support that I need, and I'm feeling all alone and isolated. As a woman or as a couple, what should you do so that you don't end up depressed? Because I know that the depression in itself can even lead to
Failure.
failure of the procedure. So what do I do?
Yes. So it's important for couples to understand that the decision is not just a decision to have babies, but it's also a mental health journey. So when you understand it from that perspective, it helps you to now look out for some coping resources to help you navigate the ongoing challenges. Because there's going to be demand in terms of medical visits, appointments, financial implications. There are, as I've already mentioned, conflicts that may emerge due to the decision, and other factors that comes up because one decides to have a child, and plus the societal expectations of how you ought to have a child in our setting, and how you are even going to navigate from communicating to people, even how to tell your pastor that I'm going to have a baby, and the procedure we went, when the pastor has always been praying for you every time to have a baby, and now you went through IVF.
And so the prayer will help the baby to come.
So how you let them know, because they are thinking that it is their prayers that have caused the pregnancy, and now you go to tell them that, oh, you actually went to the hospital and went through a procedure, and then that all of those are layers of communication and things you have to do, not just if it was just simple, you go through it and you just do it and nobody cares. That's different. But in our setting, people actually care.
But I think the problem with our setting is that even the couples going through IVF don't want anybody to know.
Nobody to know.
So the pressure
So there's
is
a
lot,
self-stigma.
yes, more on them, because sometimes some of them are even coming to the hospital, they look uncomfortable. They don't want people to know that is what they are going through. And I remember some experience I had in India. When they are coming to do IVF, the whole family comes, from grandfather to...
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. You see all of them sitting there waiting for the woman to go through the process. Wow. But it's the opposite here, because I've had lots of patients who get pregnant, will go and bring their friend, and just before the friend comes in, he'll come and tell you, Dr. Homie, don't tell her I did IVF. Then how do I help a 48-year-old woman get pregnant without IVF? So it's improving a bit, but I think it's something that we should. We're just bypassing a challenge. We're not creating human beings or creating robots. The tubes are blocked. The sperm cannot be. We're just bypassing a challenge, and I don't think. If God's favor is not in, the babies will implant.
So the positive thing is that for people who are able to go through it, there's a certain sense of resilience that comes because they've navigated a very complex situation in their life. And that also gives them the internal energy to deal with other complex issues that may come into their life. And that's something that needs to be highlighted, and we need to know that because it's a very complex phase, if people are able to go through it successfully, looking at all the challenges, and you enter something with a lot of optimism and hope, and sometimes you are told that it didn't work out, and then you may have to go back again, spend a lot of money, go through all the cycle again, and then if they're able to scale through that phase very well, there's an internal energy or strength that is built. And many times when you interact with mothers and couples who have gone through that phase, you see that strength there, and it's very because they have navigated already the societal pressures, the stigma, the other things that are there, and they've really overcome those hurdles, and it's easy for them to deal with other issues that come there.
Great. So as we round up our conversation for today, I mean, it's been such an intriguing one. I would want to take the last words from Ruth, and then also from Dr. Homia. Ruth, as I said, I want you to look inside that camera.
Okay.
Tell that young couple, that young woman, older woman, those people who are wondering and struggling about it, this IVF thing, you know, should I not? Will people laugh at me? That kind of thing. What should they do?
Okay. What I would say from my experience is, if it's the child that you want and you can't get it through the natural means, by all means, please go to the fertility doctor. I have had an experience with Medifem, so I'll vouch for them that go and start the process. You might never know what the outcome will be, but I know it will be positive. And the earlier you go, the better, from my experience. If you are married, don't wait 3 years, 5 years, waiting for a child. If you don't go and be drinking concoctions, it might even spoil your kidney because you don't even know what you are drinking. If God is the one that answers your prayer, if you are praying, seek fertility advice. In US and then other developed countries, it's normal to walk into a fertility clinic, even if you are not married. If your reproductive health is important to you, don't wait till it's too late and then the complications are too much that the process will not be successful. The earlier, the better. Thank you.
The earlier, the better. You heard Ruth's amazing story, and I'll take the last words from Dr. Homia, then we'll round up. Doc.
I think she said it all. The earlier, the better. Your chances of conception are far better the younger you are. The stress gets worse with age and societal pressure and eventually marital discord and all that. A lot of people get scared. I hear it's a lot of money, but there are so many ways of cutting down the cost of the IVF procedure. It's not a one jacket fits all. It depends on what you need. And as much as possible, because we as doctors, I mean, Ruth, for instance, has become my friend for more than 3 years. Every occasion, either I get pictures of the triplets or at every stage in their life, you know. So we're also there to help. It's a difficult journey sometimes. You need encouragement, you need support. And it's not always about what people say, oh, it's a lot of it's so expensive. Fine, it's money because our general economic situation is not. But there are ways of helping out to cut down the costs. Cost of medications are coming down now. And I'm sure most people would. A child is priceless.
Yeah.
A child is priceless.
Wow, what a wonderful conversation we've had. And so today we have been speaking with three amazing people. First, Mr. Samuel Riafe, who is a senior clinical psychologist at Ga East Municipal Hospital. He's also an advocate and the founder and executive director of Rare Disease Ghana Initiative. We also spoke with Madame Ruth Oklu, who shared her amazing IVF story as a single mother. She is an accountant at the Controller and Accountants General's Department. And then Dr. Kwesi Homia, who is a consultant obstetrician, gynecologist, and a fertility specialist. He, as I said earlier, has the magic hands and is helping and supporting families go through the IVF process. And I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you to LMB. Thank you to Accra Fertility Center for collaborating. Thank you to Mahogany Consult for powering this podcast. And thank you to Nunua Skincare for sponsoring. Hope to see you in the next episode. We'll be right back. Again, don't forget, live, move, and have your being. God bless you.
Live, move, and have your being with Baaba Cofie.